Talk about fascia, even if Dimitris would like to talk about formation, but we will talk about fascia and fascia therapy. Yes. Maybe. We can always talk about it, but without...
Maybe it's still starting.
This is my laptop also. Does it? Okay. First of all, I'm French. I'm a physiotherapist for 28 years, and I'm specialized in fascia therapy for 11 years by method Idανικό. During my working life, I've done a lot of trainings, and each time I used to pick up what I thought was interesting in the training, and I used to mix all this knowledge to make my own practice. And 13 years ago, when I met fascia therapy, I've really been shocked because I've understood its techniques, which is not necessary to part, and you need really to do it from the beginning to the end. And it's a technique when you are working on all the body, so you can't just pick up a manipulation from a shoulder and use it to mix it up with soyer manipulation or other things. So for me, it was really a changement of vision about my practice, and that's a beginning where I've stopped doing physiotherapy, and I've done only fascia therapy in a new place for quite 11 years. 4 years ago, we have also written a book. It's a co-written book about fascia therapy and systemic approach, coaching in systemic approach, because we wanted people understood that there are really something complete between the body and the mind, and they can't make separation between conscious and unconscious, what they live outside and what they live inside, in fact. So that's why we have made this book, to let people understand they are really something more complex than just a body with some pain and just a mind with some reasoning, in fact. Let's talk about fascia. Fascia, in English, it's connective tissue. Connective tissue, even in the word, you understand what does it mean. It's here to connect everything. But the most important thing in this connective tissue, it is that it is one structure. There is no rupture in the body. From the upper part of your skull to your toes and to the deepest part of your body, it's the same structure, the one structure of fascia. This fascia, if you want to imagine it, it's like a spider web, like you've got here, with dew droplets, because it's a tissue working with body fluids. So we've got a structure from the top to the toes, even in the deepest part of your body, in 3 dimensions, with fibers everywhere, very fluid, very liquid, and it's around your muscle. It's the first thing we have about fascia. It's around your muscle, it's around your organs, but it's also in the constitutions of all the other tissues. In your tendons, in blood vessels, lymphatic vessels, capsule, around your articulation, it's your meninges, it's your peritoneum. It's really, really everywhere. It can be in a big proportion or small proportion, and it can also be between the fibers of your muscles. So it's really a structure. You can't miss it in the body. Wherever you look at, you've got some fascia. Big part or small parts, but you've got some. It's like here, you can see it's really the same. It's around, inside, and it's everywhere. And there is no rupture between each part of the fascia. It means that if you work on the body of someone and you are working on the upper part of the body, with the fascia, you've got the possibility to go really to the intestines, even without putting my hands on the belly, and it can also work on the knee, on the lower back, in quite different parts of the body, because of this connective tissue without rupture in the body. So that's important to really have the image of something everywhere, inside also, and having a link with everything in the body. Usually people ask me, if it's so magical, why don't we hear about it more, in fact. Fascia is a tissue we know since centuries, in fact, because even when they have big anatomy dissection, they knew there was a fascia. They knew there was something around muscles, for example. It was existing, but it was not something important. For people, fascia was like the bag in which you put the things you have bought to the supermarket, in fact. It was something to have around, to separate, but not anything else. And in the period of the anatomy dissection, they were very, very interested in knowing the function of an organ, for example. How does it work? It was very new to be able to go inside the body and to understand what was the link between your liver and your stomach, how was it rely, and how was it with your muscle and your tendons. They were going to a very specific and vision of the inside, very microscopic. And it's quite a pity we have needed a lot of centuries to come back to something more global and to something more macroscopic, and to make the links between the microscopic way, the specific way of looking inside the body, and the knowledge of understanding that everything must be seen also from outside and from a more global idea. If we come back to the Greek time, Greek, before anatomy dissection, were completely convinced and knew we had to take the person as a global person from his body part, but also his mind, and it was normal to look the person by this global view. And with anatomy dissection, I think they have lost a little this global vision to specialize themselves into the function of every organ and to be very specific and very good. So it's great. Now we know a lot of things about that, but we mustn't forget that it's something that works with his neighbors, and without the neighbors, nobody can do anything in the body. To understand also, fascia in Latin, it means strips. So we understand that it was really the only function they recognize about the fascia. It's to be strips and to be just around organs or all those things. In the 80s, a lot of people in the world were thinking differently. And we've got in United States, Thomas Myers, and in Germany, Robert Schlepp. In France, it was Danny Bois, who were, and I'm sure a lot of other people in the world, who have been interested in this tissue because they were feeling there was something different in the body. They wanted to understand what was this sensation, and also because of the new imaging medical coming as ultrasounds, who helped them to see the fascia in vivo, and it was moving, and that was very new, to be able to see inside the body, living body, and to see the movement inside. So they have made them understood that it was quite an important tissue. In France, we've got Dr. Jean-Claude Guimberteau, who is a surgeon, and I love the sentence he has had in these years. He said, "We have neglected this tissue for centuries as if it was nothing, but the fact is it's not something, it's everything." When a surgeon, which is someone very specialized and who is normally interested in his operation and not a lot about rehabilitation behind, understands that if he takes care of the fascia, he will have very good results and better results at the end for this operation. We've got also Carla Stecco, who is an anatomist, an Italian anatomist. She comes from a family. Her father was an anatomist, her brother is a physiologist, so there are people very interested in anatomy, of course, and she's specialized in fascia. She has made the first atlas of fascia. It's a really great book about the fascia and all the links we've got between different fascia of the body. It's in English, in Italian and English. It's a very, very great book. And as I told you, ultrasound made a really big difference in knowing this tissue. So that's why it's not a tissue, it's quite new, in fact. It's like if it was a new tissue, a new discovery, because it's not at all the fascia we have thought it was for centuries before. So that's why it's not something we know since a long, long time. Hello. Another thing is important about fascia, it's all the discoveries I have done since these years. And we will just make a list because I won't go in the research and all this part of the fascia. But it's important to understand after the properties and the role it will have in the body. So, in the Congress of Berlin for the fascia in 2018, they have discovered these new cells. And these new cells are fasciacytes. And these new cells are in the body and product collagen. So, it was a part very important. Fibroblasts, they understood it produced hyaluronic acid. They have also discovered that in the fascia there is a lot of sensitive receptors. There is more than 10 times more than your skin. You were talking about skin. 10 times more sensitive receptor than in your skin. There is a communication system which is 15 times more quicker than your nerve system. It's quite big. There is nerve cells, 6 times more than in your muscles. It's very well organized. I know when you see this photo, you can imagine it's not a really good organization, but in fact, yes, because every direction is not because they want to go in this direction. It's just because collagen will be a bridge between a part of your body and another part of your body. And all this is by tensions, compressions, and it's not really like if it was like a mess. It's really organized, and we will see after it has got something to do with architecture, like tensegrity and all these sort of things. Another point, very important, and that was very, very new, it is that they have discovered there is a cell polarization. It means that in the body, normally we've got only 3 systems that can make some movement inside your body. Cardiorespiratory system, cerebrospinal fluid, and nervous system. And now we have understood that with this cell polarization, there is an electric system which can make some movement. So there is a 4th system making some movement. It's not at all quick as a cerebrospinal movement, fluid movement. It's very slow and very different from the others one existing in the body. I want to really you understand all this because it's really important. If you understand how it works, how it is, the structure, it will be very easy to understand how to use the fascia. I talked a few minutes ago about architecture, and that's why fascia is quite special. Because it's not like bones and muscles. Bones are very strong, and for centuries and years, we were sure we were standing up because we had bones, muscles, tendons, and everything was what make us straight, stand up. But in fact, we have understood that if you take off all the fascia, everything collapses. And that's quite a different way of thinking about anatomy, about biomechanical system in our body, and it's a complete changement of paradigm about how does it function. If you can imagine that the fascia is perhaps the most important tissue in the body, it's completely different, even more than an organ. Of course, not your heart, but if the fascia is not good, your liver perhaps is very good, but it's compressed and it doesn't work normally. So it's not the problem of the liver, but it's the problem of the fascia all around. So when you understand that this structure, even if it's not made with very solid elements, materials. It's something that makes everything straight. And tensegrity in architecture is really the idea that tensions and compressions made everything built correctly. I think in Australia, the opera in Sydney, I think the construction is made on this kind of architecture with some soft, not very strong materials, but it's just a question of tension and compression. And they have understood that in the body, with the fascia, it's exactly the same way of working, and it's not big bones taking us up, but small collagen fibers making us straight up. Here we go. We come to the official definition of the fascia. It's quite a big one because this structure is very complex, but we will not go through all it, but there is some important points. The fascia is responding to a mechanical stimuli. It will be very important to understand what is the role of the fascia in the body. It's a perfect synergy among different tissues. Okay, it's a bridge between tissues and it makes some link. Okay, it is supporting, we have seen it, that's why we are straight, dividing the bags around what you have bought to the supermarket, penetrating between fibers, feeding and also connecting because of the communication system, and it works also with hormones also. So we've got something which can also transmit and receive by the way also of the cell polarization and the communication system. That's the most important for the official definition of the fascia. The properties of the fascia. It's very easy because when we have understood that it's a structure you've got everywhere and all the possibilities of it by cell polarization, communication, sensitive receptor, and all these kind of things, it's quite easy. In the first photo, we have tried to imagine the fascia as the spider webs with dew droplets. It's because this tissue works in symbiosis with body fluids. Extracellular matrix, blood, lymphatic, all these liquids you've got in your body will be linked and will work with your fascia. It's a very sensitive tissue. The receptors, sensitive receptor, 10 times more than your skin. It's very quick communication, 15 times more than the nervous system. It's very soft, it's viscous, it's spongy. Because of the collagen and the hyaluronic acid, it makes a structure very comfortable. And it has got an autonomous movement by the cell polarization. It's malleable, it's mobile, and it is sensitive to hormone. If you take the example of cortisol, it's a stress hormone, and the cortisol will have an effect very straight on the fascia. When the cortisol is liberated in the blood, it will dry the fascia, and if the fascia dries, it will retract, and that will be important to understand for the role and for what is interesting you for fascia therapy, of course. So if you want to have a more global or holistic view of the fascia system, I always imagine it as if my body were an apartment with the walls very spongy, very soft, very viscous, mobile and modulable. It means that in my body, I've got a living room, a kitchen, there is no extra storage room, everything is used. And perhaps this evening I've got a lot of friends coming home and I need a bigger living room. And the walls will move and takes on my bedroom or my kitchen, and my living room will be bigger. It's the same in my body. When in digestion, my belly will need more space and it will take on other part of my body. And when I do sports, my muscles need more space, and it is necessary to have an arrangement with the neighbors. In my apartment, it's with my bedroom or my kitchen. In my body, it's with muscles and organs, and sometimes you've got the organs that are not working at the moment that will leave place for other part of the body. So it's a structure which is always the same size, in fact, because the inside is always the same, and inside everything must be very kind with his neighbor, and it must be an arrangement of every day to have everything working at its best, in fact. And that is when you are in good health. When there is problems, we will see it's not always as it seems, in fact. The role of the fascia, we have seen before: contain, always the back, support, standing up, connect, the communication system, fluidic because it works with the liquids, it moves with the cell polarization, it communicates. So now we can say it's very essential. It's not a tissue you must release at nothing. It's really an essential tissue. And for us, for therapists and fascia therapists, the most important role of it is that it's a shock absorber for physical and emotional shocks. That's the point which is really important. We can imagine that with this structure very spongy, soft, viscous, malleable, etc. a long time, that at a moment your fascia is not able to come back to a complete rehabilitation. And perhaps it will move a little less, perhaps it will be less fluid, or perhaps it will be completely stuck. It depends of the importance of the event, the frequency of it, and it depends of your history, in fact. All is about our history for events we have lived during our lives. So, fascia therapy will really be the way to work on these physical and emotional shocks you have had, and these events have made some tensions in a part of your body, and you will have perhaps a shoulder stuck, or your neck, or perhaps it will be in your digestive system, and it will have consequences on all the other part of the body because of the link and because of the nerve rupture in this tissue. That's quite important. That's why we can link fascia with pain very easily. We were just saying that if the shock was too strong or too repetitive, perhaps there will be an area of your body which will be in protection, completely in protection, and not moving anymore, and just trying to have the area safe. But if you've got this fixed point, of course your body will make some compensation, and that's a great point. There is always a solution. Your body will find another way to do the job, in fact. It's great. Compensations are here to help us. It's really great. But there is a moment where you don't have any more compensation. Your body have used all he could to help, I don't know, your neck, and even to your ankle, he can't find any other solutions, because after your toes, there is nothing else. So no more solution. And the problem is that it will not come 2 minutes or 10 minutes or 2 days just after. It will take a lot of years to have solutions and to be at the end of the solutions. It's really like in your life. If you work with colleagues and your colleague is sick for 1 week, and you will take his job to do because it's your colleague and it's great and you will help, it's okay. But if your colleague is sick for 20 years, if you take his job for 20 years, you will be completely tired, and you will not be able to do the 2 jobs, and you won't do it well. So it's the same in the body. Compensations are really great, but for a short time, not for a long time. If it's for a long time, there is no way the job will be done in a good way, and you will not be tired, because you will do your own job you are not made for. So that's why there is a moment your body needs some help. And with fascia, working on the fascia, of course you will help to release the stocking point, but you will help also to all the other parts of your body that are trying to compensate and not doing their work very well. So that's the most important, to understand that if we want to stop this vicious circle of stuck points, compensation, pain. We know if there is some pain, the rehab will be less easier. So other compensation, other pain. We can't get out. So we must find a way to stop this system. And to stop the system is to try to have the gliding way of the fascia coming back, to release the pain, to rehab by giving the function coming back to normal. And it's not because I will try to remove a problem in an area, it's just because I will let this tissue come back to his possibilities. And if this tissue is in good health, everything around will be better. Even an articulation will be decompressed. Even an organ will be also in better health because the function will be better also. So it's really virtuous circle in this way. If we want to understand the medical imaging and the fascia, it's an important point because the fascia on classical medical imaging, you can't see it. So a lot of years we have heard there is nothing on the medical imaging, so there is nothing. It's okay. You are well. You have pain, but you are well. So very good. Bye-bye. But we know that if there is a pathology, it's very easy. Scoliosis, everybody understands it's a problem. Everybody understands I will not change the scoliosis and keep your back coming straight. Okay. And if I'm a physiotherapist, I will work in stretching areas, reinforcing others. Okay. If I'm a fascia therapist, I will work on the lungs, I will work on the digestive system, I will work also on your shoulders, your neck, your meninges, I will work on the lower part of your body, I will work on everything to have something very comfortable, because even with a big scoliosis, we can have something quite okay with a movement, with something you can make sport, you can live with not such a big pain as you can have if you just try stretching and reinforcing. So the point is really to go to work on soft tissues. The soft tissue is really the solution to help the body in stuck bones or in a stuck area. But even with a stuck area, you can have a good function of everything else. And if everything else is mobile, fluid, there will be really less pain. If you've got medical imaging with no pathology, normal ones, of course it's quite difficult to understand there is pain. But the good point is that if there is no pathology, it's great. It's just because you are before the problem and you are not in pathology. So there's a lot of possibilities. And fascia is also the way to help the body that is crying and telling you, hey, I've got a problem. You can't see it, but it's now, because after there will be a big problem. And as the same, you can work on all the soft tissue to release compression, to release the link that have been made since years about, I don't know, an accident you have had 20 years ago, and it's okay, but you don't understand why you've got now a problem in your lower back, even if your accident was more on the neck, or you've got headaches, or I don't know what are the compensations you have made, but it's time to do something before there is other problems coming. So medical imaging, it's really great, but it doesn't give you such a lot of information if it's not in pathology. And if people come to see us before pathology, of course it's magical. It's really easier and it's really great. If we talk about no pathology on the medical imaging, of course we will think about somatization. Somatization, it's just the way your body and your mind have found to tell you something. In our body, we've got our brain with a conscious system and an unconscious system. Your conscious system is always reasoning. So you think all the night and all the day to find solution and to think how you can do anything by this way, another way. Okay, that's a conscious system. But you've got your unconscious system, which speak another language. It's symbolic language. It's completely different. And the two systems are not able to communicate very well. It's not the same language. It has Greek and French. Sometimes it's quite difficult. It's quite the same. And in the body, you've got the fascia, which is sensitive, which communicates, which is very quick, which is the first, in fact, to live your life. Because when you have an event, the first to feel is your body, and your fascia communicates 15 times quicker than your nerve system. So information come up, brain, emotion, great. If you understand it can come in a way, of course it can come in another way. And your unconscious is also communicating with your fascia. Fascia is like the unconscious but of your body. And the two of them are on the same level. They communicate with the same mother tongue. It's symbolic. And sometimes we've got pain in an area, and it's really bizarre, but it's always after having a discussion with your boss. And each time, this pain is coming at the same place. Each time, it's completely crazy. And you need sometimes a lot of time to understand that this pain is telling you something. What you are living is not fair, or is not, your value can't accept what's going on. But your conscious, no, you don't have to do this, it's great, you've got a good job, and I don't know what anything else, but your conscious tries always to make you okay, and your unconscious tries to tell you, no, your value don't want you to do that, you will not do that. But we've got problem to be just and to be okay with our value sometimes, and that's a big problem for our unconscious and for our body. So sometimes pain is a problem of value in front of society, in front of what is fair and what is unfair. And that's something we've got problem to understand sometimes. But your body is here to tell it to you, and that's great. So now, if we have understood all that, we can understand that this tissue is a biopsychosocial tissue, because it works with everything you live. And if you are sedentary people, or if you make sport, your tissue will not be in the same state. Your age, your experiences, of course, all the shock you have had have fragilized your tissue. So it's important. Your genotype, if you had disease, if you've got medication, how you eat, if you've got social stress, psychological stress, if you live in a pollution place, if you sleep well, in fact, everything you live has got some consequences on your fascia. So it's quite difficult sometimes to understand what's going on. If it's a problem with your work, if it's a problem because you have not slept very well, if it's because you don't eat well, sometimes it's very difficult, and usually it's not one problem giving pain or problem or a stuck area. It's a mix of all these problems that makes a problem in your body, in fact. So it's important to try to not see pain, stuck area, problems as the result of one thing. It's always different things coming to give a big problem. And that's why fascia, for me, is great, and I'm here to talk about fascia and fascia therapy. So, of course, it's for me the best way to work with the body, because I will work from skull to toes, and I will try to find all the links that has been done in your body and try to give you back a movement but in the tissue. I don't speak about articulation, it's quite different. The movement in the tissue is the first one you've got to have before the macroscopic movement. If I've got a problem in my shoulder, and if I don't work on the tissue, I will only make stretching, and it will not be very fast and very efficient. But if I work on the tissue, it will be incredible to see that in a session you can have 30 degrees best just by having made some very small and slow movement in the tissue on your omoplatis, on your neck, on your arm, or on your diaphragm, of course, and all these areas. And even if I don't touch the shoulder, I will have some good result, because it's not the shoulder in herself that is the problem. Usually it's in another part, and there is some strings keeping your shoulder down and you can't move anymore. And Carla Stecco, which is an Italian anatomist I told you a few minutes ago, said in the 80s that if the fascia start to be altered, the first element that we can see is the lack of glide. Glide is really the most important word for the fascia and for the body. And she has also seen that if you can create a friction, a movement, in 1 or 2 minutes, it will come back to glide and it will come back to movement. So it's very, very interesting to feel that just gliding is the solution of quite everything in our body and in the part we are stuck in fact. So of course there is a lot of ways to have a gliding in the body, to come back in movement. For me, it's fascia therapy, because it's really, for me, a really great way of working, because it's soft, it's deep, it's slow, you take time, you don't need to stress the body. It's already very stressed in your day life, so I don't need to push it more and more. I just want it to be relaxed and to accept and to release and to come back to movement and to fluidic structure. That's really the way I like to have the body under my hands. That's the point. That's it. And if you've got some question, we will talk about it. And just to tell you that I will be happy to let you try to feel the movement inside of you. So if you are okay, I will put my hands on you and try to let you feel how is it when there is some movement in the fascia. It's quite difficult sometimes because it's an internal tissue. We are not used to feel this tissue. We are used to feel our muscles, tendons, and pain, which is strong sensation. The fascia is very soft, and the first word people say at the first session, generally, it's bizarre. It's very bizarre because they can feel it's not always under my hands. I'm on the neck and they tell me, is it normal? I've got some pain in my knee. And yeah, it's normal because it's a structure with no rupture. And that's what is great, that even if I don't put my hand on a place, it will work. It will have some job and the body will make the job it can do at this session. Because sometimes we can't do the job for the body. We are just here to help him to come back to movement, to fluid, and it is the body that makes the job. It's not me, and that's important to understand that I will not do everything to have a low back in better health. I will do everything to have more gliding, and your body, your fascia, your blood vessels, your blood system, all the machine inside of you will come back to something that functions very well. And sometimes in a session you have got a problem here and you can't go through, you go by this way, and sometimes it's not a good moment. You will try and it will not go as you would like it go. But it's not a problem because your body will work, and perhaps in two days the body will do the job. Or perhaps you just have to take off the first clothes and after, as the second session, you will go through and deepest. And so you can't be sure, of course, of what you will have. But the sure you've got is that it is a texture you've got in your hand, and it's the best way to be sure you are in a good direction, and it's the only thing that must guide you when you are treating in fascia therapy. So, this is the QR code. If you want, on the Facebook page Professional, there is some article videos about fascia, because as you can see, I love it. So I try to find a lot of articles on it. There is also my name and also my phone number. I've got a Greek one, but there is no, you will not be able to leave a message. So it's better with the WhatsApp. And as I told you, I need quite a lot of time when I do fascia therapy. I need 1 hour and a half of session, because it's a long time, it's a slow work, and I don't want anymore to be quick. I think it's a good point. And it's 70 euro if you're interested in sessions. So we will make a break after the question, if you're okay. Do you have any question, or do you want to know anything?
Is it too much for the body, 1 hour and a half of fascia therapy? I mean, in 1 hour and a half, maybe too many informations go through the body, and is it possible to understand, assimilate all of those informations?
Yeah, I know. Usually I do, before I was doing 1 hour, and now, before I had people who already had session, so it was not always new people. Now that I'm going in from France, I've got a lot of new first sessions. And my first session is really to try to wash, and as a garden when nobody has done anything for years and you've got everything everywhere. So I try to take off all the big things, and I need a lot of time. So it's a lot of information. It means that the second day people will have a lot of sore muscles, courbature. Sore muscles, yeah. Sore muscles. There will be some small pains in a point for half an hour, in another part for half an hour. There will be a lot of rearrangement inside. So yes, it's quite long, but it's my choice to do it because I don't want to do 10 sessions. I prefer to do a big one at the beginning, and for the person sometimes they are very tired, they need to sleep after the session. They can have some digestive perturbation. It can be a lot of things behind. But I prefer to do a very big one to wash quite strongly. But after, I can see more precisely what is really the problem and how I can go to this problem by a way very sensitive, and I will see really better in the body. Yeah, it's my choice.
Is it possible that the body refuses?
Yes, but if
fascia therapy?
It doesn't refuse fascia therapy. It refuses that I go in some places sometime. Sometimes I try to, for example, digestive system, more easy. Digestive system, sometime when I work, I've got the impression that there is a balloon inside, and I come around the balloon moves, the lower back moves, the balloon moves, but I can't get inside the balloon. And when I found this sort of problem, usually it is because there is an event, or there is something they have lived that is not they have not been through. Psychologically, they have not resolved the problem. And when I got this sort of problem, the book, I work with a coach in systemic approach. So we used to work together as a binôme, and when I felt it was this kind of problem, I used to ask her to help this person, because there is an unconscious link, nocive and link, unconscious link, and it's necessary to understand what's going on and what was the problem in the past that makes this person unable to go through. I like to do it this way, but she's Francophone, and her mother tongue is French, so she works only in French. So I know now that if I got this, I will need more sessions to try to get in slowly. I used to work on 3 sessions to have a release in the body. When I've got this sort of problem, I know it will take more time, and we will have also to talk. I will not be psychologist. I will just give the person what is the image I've got.
The next step.
Yeah, it's always, you know, you take something off and there's another one. And sometimes when, you know, with the textures, you've got images. I love cartoons, old ones, and Tom and Jerry, you know, when there is always some very strong images, and sometimes in the body, textures, movement, give you an image of, I don't know, imagine for uterus and all these parts in feminine parts. Sometimes you really feel there is an egg. It's completely closed. And if you can give this image to the person, perhaps for her it will be a way to understand that what she has lived 10 years ago is still a problem, even if she thinks it's okay. And it's important for the person to understand sometimes, to have awareness of what is inside the body, to make the psychological way changing also his way of thinking. I don't know if I'm clear. Yeah, it's okay. So it's important sometimes. Sometimes it works just to with the body sensation and make them be aware of how is it stuck, where, and how is the structure. The image will give them a solution. But sometimes it's not enough. And yes, sometimes we need some help with another entry. And unconscious is, of course, the good way of entry when there is some event in the past that are not resolved.
So each session is 1 hour and a half, not just the first one?
The first one, sure, and sometimes even more. Because we've got to talk, I've got to explain. Not you, no, you know everything about fascia, but and sometimes I need time, and sometimes people after need to talk also, so sometimes it needs more time. So first session, sure. After, it depends. I always take 1 hour and a half because I don't want to be stressed by time, and it's good to be released and to know if I've got a problem in an area. No problem, I've got time, and I will never go strongly in the body. And if your body tells me no, I won't go, but I will go by another part and try to release it by another way. And for this, I need a lot of time. Yeah.
I need to hear more from you about the method. It goes deep. By pressing, or
it's not pressing.
It's not pressing.
It's really touching.
Yeah, a person has to be relaxed.
I don't mind because even if it's not relaxed, he will finish relaxed. It's okay.
It's not stretching, so
no. It's a tension way. It's not massage. I put some tensions, small ones. I make some movement. I follow the movement I've got in your body, or if there is no movement, I will put one until your body comes back to movement. And if he comes back to movement, I will follow, and we will try to push it a little more to have a reaction in another way. You understand? It's really
fascia movement.
Yeah.
Not muscles.
No, fascia. No, not muscle at all. It's not a.
How you separate this?
3 years of learning.
Yeah, how to learn where is fascia and where is muscle?
It's in the way you touch.
Fascia is deeper.
It's deeper, but it's also on the surface. Fascia, you've got it by being slow, because if you don't go to his rhythm, you will not have it. If you go quickly, you will have your muscle and your tendons, not your fascia. So it's not, and it's a texture. You must feel it. I'm sorry. I don't know if it will.
We need to, from your presentation.
Yeah, I'm just here to help you to know and to understand. But as I told Dimitris, I'm not a teacher. And I'm not here to make I will not be able to let you know the movement and the touch of the fascia in 5 seconds or 5 minutes or 1 hour or 2 hours. It's really, you must listen to what is under your hand. You must listen when you put your hand, if there is a tension coming from this part of the body, if it's deep, it's in surface, under your finger, if under this one there is a tension more than under this one. And it's really learning to feel what you've got in your hand and to be very precise and to be very attentive. You must be completely inside the body of the person.
It doesn't work with trigger points.
It's not trigger points. It's not the same.
Another question, if I understand well.
Even if trigger points can be great.
Fascia is actually holding the organs and muscles. It's not only on muscles.
No. It's everywhere. For the organs, you've got
the whole system.
Yeah. For the organs, for example, you've got 2 surfaces. One surface is completely stuck with the organ in itself, and you've got a second second surface that is linked to all the other one. So there is a gliding also between the surface of the organ and the second surface of the organ linked to the second surface of the other ones. Okay? And so you really must imagine it like a spider web around, inside, and moving. Yeah. Is it clear? Yeah?
So when you get older, you're talking about collagen, you lose collagen. So
you lose the efficacy of it.
Yeah, so the fascia is not so elastic then.
That's why you must work on it.
So it gets more essential to work on it as you get older
because of the hormones also. Yeah. You have a lack of hormones after the menopause. So it's changed completely your system, and it's changed completely the fluid system in your body for the tissues. So it needs to, there's other systems taking part, taking the place of the hormones that are disappearing, okay? So it's also, but it takes time. But of course, liquids in your body are more important when you take some age, and you must work on it to help to have it the more fluid possible. Yeah.
And also if you've got a lot of collagen going in, not just collagen, you've got cortisone. If you have stress in your life,
of course,
it's a bit of a disaster.
It's terrible. Yeah, of course. The more you are stressed, the worse is it for all your body, your mind, your body, your fascia, your articulation, everything. Yeah. So yes, of course. So yoga is great. Yoga is really great to help also, because it will help you to release your mind, and the more you release your mind and your body, the more you will help it to be fluid and in movement. So all the techniques you can use to be comfortable in your body by any kind of solution you like, because it's important you like it, it's always good.
Like yin yoga, when you're doing yin yoga and you stay in a pose for a long time, it affects the fascia or not?
I'm not very good in yoga and in the different parts of yoga, so I'm sorry.
When she does yin yoga, that's why
I don't think so, because you are just holding a pose, but there is no movement. But the fascia is like taking the surface of the skin and moving in a specific way in order to give this movement of the fascia to create space actually. So I'm not sure that in yoga you can do something like that.
No, but you can have some fluid system circulation and a good stretch. It's great. And also, the image that comes with what you said is I always try to make some image. I like it. And fascia moves like les algues. Comment on dit les algues au fond de l'océan? Taficha. Seaweeds. In the ocean, it's always moving slowly, coming in and in all the direction.
In the water.
In the water.
That's my next question.
Yeah.
I finish.
Yeah. So it's always moving in different direction, very slowly, but always moving. And that's the best way for your body to have the fascia always moving in all directions. It's great.
Why I brought up yin yoga is because when I'm doing yin yoga, I can feel like there's movement afterwards. I feel something's released, like the energy is released. So that's why I'm thinking yin yoga is good. If you it works with the fascia.
Everything that you feel is good for you is good for you. Yeah. Never forget that. It's crazy, but it's important. If you feel it's great for you, it's great. Yeah. Perhaps it doesn't go as deep as other ones, I don't know. But if for you, you feel it's great, why do you want to change? It's great, it's important. You're the first one to know what is good for you. And perhaps it's the stretching. The stretching will release and will help blood circulation. It will help to release also in your muscle all the, I don't know the name in English, but it will help, of course. Perhaps it's not the way I work. Perhaps it's not the way they work also. But really,
it's good to work with many different.
Yes, and different entries. It's always great. There is not one God solution. But we've got all of us something to give, and for me, I love this technique. For the moment, I've not found any techniques better than this. I've tried a lot. I've tried also, I wanted to do osteopathic school, and when I found this, for me it was really great because I've done it on me. I had sciatic for 15 years, and a session we have worked on this part, on the low back, and I've spent 3 months without any pain, and it was the first time. Even if I was doing stretching every day. I see an osteopath very frequently, but it was always good, but it comes back, always. And for the first time, I spent 3 months without any pain. So it was miraculous, yeah, and now I'm great. And for me, I have understood that.
Also, you're very happy because you found your thing. And it radiates from you. So
I love.
Part of it.
I love. I'm a physiotherapist. I love massage. I love to touch body, and I love this way of working. But fascia, I think it's such an interesting tissue. It's always surprising you, and even in the body, sometimes you heard the story of the person, and. You know you will have to look at this part, because you have heard the story, so you know more or less where you will have to go. And you put your hand, and you've got some surprise. And it's great, because always the body is surprising you, and the body has found a way to make compensation you haven't thought about it before. And it's really great to try to help to release. And when you feel in your hands the release of the tissue, it's magical. It's great. Yes, I love it. You wanted to ask about water. What was it?
Well, my own opinion is that personally I don't like the word release.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's not in general. Because
ça fond. Pour moi, ça fond.
It's no release in reality, but a backup of the movement.
Yeah.
So if this we can say it's a release, it's okay, that's a word.
My English is not perfect,
but
so...
No, it's true. No, that's a word that we use very much.
Easy.
Liberty in the body.
Yeah.
Like that, but it's very philosophical, you know.
Hmm?
It's just the comeback of the movement.
Yeah.
That's the release. Well, my question is this, maybe a technical question.
Yeah.
What happens in the fascia with the persons who don't like to drink water?
We are in a period when we hear always, you must drink a lot of water. We must drink a lot of water. That's true. I think it's because we don't eat, perhaps in a well way, I don't know, but I'm not sure. Centuries ago, everybody was thinking he had to drink 1 liter and half liter every day. So I think we've got an alimentation. So normally it gives you what you need. Of course, there's some people who don't feel when they are thirsty. Okay, but it's great. But I'm sure I'm not.
But you know, there are people who doesn't like the water.
Yeah, I know.
What happens in the fascia with those people?
I don't know. I've not made some studies about it.
It's not okay if you drink tea, green tea or something.
See, tea is okay. Tea is okay. Really, I don't know if there is some difference with the other ones. I'm not sure. I don't know. Really, I don't know. I don't do any research.
Green tea or something else which is healthy but has water in it. It has to be water.
Yes, because tea is tea. Coffee is coffee.
It's always good with water. It's essential.
Coffee and tea comes through the digestive system first, but water.
Yeah,
right away.
Not the same door.
It's not the same door.
Yeah,
the same thing.
Yeah. But you see, we don't see in the street people completely desiccated.
No.
So.
But when we touch bodies, sometimes we feel the absence of water inside.
Yeah, and in this case, I'm not sure if it's because there is too much cortisol or if it's because they don't drink enough. I'm not able to tell why, if it's because less water or too much stress in the life, or I must say I'm not able to say why it is. Is it because less water or not?
Not the why. What does it makes? What does the effect in the fascia?
If
the absence of water.
It's terrible, of course, because it's water helps to renew the fluids, and if it's it's like if it's not some water, new ones, clean ones, of course you've got a lot of déchets. My English sometimes. And of course it works not very well. So of course, yes, it's better. Of course it's better. Yeah, of course.
Can I ask something? When you work with the fascia, you choose to go to muscles or you don't go there?
Sorry. Sorry.
When you go to fascia, you go also to muscles, or you don't go?
You know, sometimes it comes in your hands and you can't do anything against it. But the way you work, muscles. It's when you're a physiotherapist, you will be strong in the massages. You will go to the muscles and try to mobilize it, to stretch, to make some massages. Muscles react to this sort of treatment. You will feel when you work in fascia, it's so slow. It's completely different. I work on a globality. I don't want to work on this part. When I touch, I work on all this part. When I try to stretch, even if it's not stretching, it's not this part of the body that I take. It's all the part, and even on the omoplatis, it's all the part I want to work. So when you work this way, it's not the muscles. Of course you will stretch a little the muscle. Of course sometimes it will be a little sensitive on your muscle, because the movement you will make, you will have also a stretching of the muscles, but
you don't work on this.
It's not my entry, because I don't. Now that I have found this way, I don't need anymore, because the muscles will take the place you give to it. If you give more space around it, it will take the place. There's no problems. You don't have to make a big massage to have it more relaxed, not release, more relaxed. So that's why I don't need to go to the muscle. I just want to have the structure around it more spacey, with more space. Is it clear? Is it? It's not. It's really the way you will touch will really make the difference between what you want to have to work under your hands. It's really different. I think, I don't know what you do, but even if you do some different messages, you know you will not have the same actions on the different parts of your body. Okay? If you want to make a digestive message, you will not work as if you were working on your legs. The message will not be the same. So you will not have the same action on the belly and on the leg. Is it okay?
Yeah,
do I answer to your question?
And feel it.
I think. It's a technique that is very difficult to explain.
Yeah.
It's really something you must feel.
Yeah, but because in my mind, I can understand
Yeah, it's difficult.
How you go to fascia without touching the muscle.
I touch, of course I touch, because I put my hands on it. I touch.
Yeah, you touch, but you don't want.
It's not because I don't want. It will come, I don't mind. In fact, I don't mind. It's just a point, I don't mind.
It's another thing.
Yeah, completely different.
Yeah.
But relax. Relax.
Another technical. If you have a case of, say, frozen shoulder.
Yeah.
Say.
We love it.
Yeah. You work on the shoulder and the arm or in the body? Full body?
Full body.
Full body.
Full body, and I will work a lot on the diaphragm.
On the diaphragm.
Diaphragm will be my point of view, and I will really look at it a lot, of course. Yeah, I will work a lot on the diaphragm, a lot all the. Yeah, of course. So as a lot. Usually the neck, of course, the meninge neck.
So you go everywhere.
Yeah. Each time I go everywhere. And the shoulder, perhaps the first time I will not even touch it.
Yes, I understand.
And with this way, yeah, it's quite efficient. You know it. I think you work more or less this way also. Yeah. So you know you don't need to go on the place where there is a pain to have some better health. In fact, I've had a shoulder as frozen. Thank you. And I've never done some movement for it. I've just seen someone working on my diaphragm, and it's okay. But it has done 6 months instead of 1 year and a half. But I was working at the same time. I have not stopped, and I've seen this person only 3 times, I think. So yeah, we can do it without any pain on the shoulder when you try to open it.
Focusing on the shoulder.
Yeah, I'm not sure it's a good way.
Are you using oil to do that? Or
not at all. I must have. Yeah, if there is too many people who put some cream or oil on the body, or if they have got some, because I work also with clothes. I don't need to take off, and I can work with clothes also. But if the tissue is more gliding, I hate it.
Some people
yeah, I hate it. I want to be really in touch. Yeah, because it's really if it's gliding in between my hand and the body, how do you want me to have some gliding inside? It's quite hard. It's really, I need more and more concentration, and it's very hard when there is some.
Better without clothes.
I imagine it can help.
Better without clothes.
It's better without clothes, but sometimes it's great to work on clothes because, you know, people are sometimes, it's difficult for them to be without clothes. And I've learned with clothes to be able to do it also without. So now I don't mind, and it's okay. Because in fact, the texture of the tissue, these ones, it's not a texture. It's completely different from the texture of the inside. So sometimes I don't even feel that, yeah.
Yes.
It's inside, so it's very different. Yeah.
I imagine it can help with people, elderly people who have problems with arthritis. Yeah?
Yeah.
And lack of collagen, especially.
Yeah. The great point is that even arthrosis, yeah, it's a problem. But when you've got arthrosis, for example, in an articulation, of course, it's because it's too much compression, and the compression will continue to destroy the articulation. In this case, I will not work on arthrosis, but I will work on all the soft tissues around. And if I arrive to decompress the articulation, the pain is not here anymore. And in this case, for a knee, for example, if you work on all the parts, upper, lower, on the low back, on the rotations, if you open, you relax all the structure around, your articulation will not be painful anymore. It's painful because it's in compression, it's forcing on it.
Collagen.
Yeah, so I won't be able to, perhaps the body will come back with collagen. But all I want is to decompress.
Yeah, I understand.
If it's compressed, it's painful. If it's decompressed, it's okay. The most important is to decompress.
And what would be the advice that you will give in elder people that they can't, of course,
to see me?
There's more collagen, new collagen there.
You know when it is.
They need to be moved. They need to.
Of course, they need to move, but they need to move in a way they feel it's good for them. We come back to what you said. We need.
It's different.
If some people don't like to walk, if you tell them to go to walk half an hour, it will be a pity for them, and they won't do it, and they will do it bad. But they need to do what they like. If they do what they like, you will see it will be really better. Even if it's not the first recommendation I will make, I don't know what kind of thing, but if they like it, and if you have released all the soft tissue around, it will be okay. But movement, of course, is great.
You know, I find that in the winter I get neck problems because of the climate. And the physiotherapist told me, don't swim. But in the winter when it's cold, I swim when it's cold because I love it. So the thing is, I think that sort of overrides it. If you really like doing something, do it anyway.
There is theory and there is real life.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it's not a problem if you like it. But if you wouldn't like it, if someone told you you must go to swim, it will be awful and you will be very stressed and you would be very painful. And no, stop worrying about what everybody says. We are in a period where everybody tells you, you must do this, don't do this. Stop it. Do what you feel is good for you. And sometimes it's not, it doesn't seem to be very normal, but you don't mind. It's good for you. Nobody is living in your body. Nobody has had your life, your experiences, your events, your traumatisms. Nobody. So nobody can tell you what to do. They can help you. They can let you be in a better health if they have good solutions that you feel is good for you. But nobody can tell you what is good for you at the end. I'm sure of it. Perhaps I'm wrong, but it's my way of thinking.
Yeah, and the end of the day, you have to make your own judgment.
Nobody has had your life. So.
One more. When somebody has an accident or coated the skin and the fascia, what happens? Fascia come back.
You talk about scars? Wounds, scars, when it has been cut and repaired? Yeah. Adherence, yeah. Of course, the fascia has been cut, in fact. Even in an operation, it has been cut. It's a shock, physical and emotional shock, when you've got this sort of problem. So, of course, you will have to work locally on the scar, because you will have to have movement back in this area very precisely. Of course, you will work on all the other parts. But if there is a scar, it's great to be able to work on the scar itself. Yeah, it's really better. Because scars is always a fixed point. And it's not good for the compensation you will have after. Yeah?
Okay. So, do we have time to just...
Me, I've got time. It's for you.
Yeah, I'd love to feel.
Just feel.
Aha, you want to feel. If you want to take a break or if someone are ready,